Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's good morning. It really is. It's not as cold. So, I mean, that makes it good for me, I guess. Anyway, make a couple adjustments to the camera as we go. Please forgive me. I know some of you people, when I say you people, you know what I mean. Nobody but me. But if you are following along, welcome back to the channel. This is a daily vlog that is going to continue as long as it can, whatever that means, because I've been doing this from 1991 to today, just not every single day. Art is art. So I've lowered the bag a bit. It's kind of nice. Makes it easy. For a short little dude like me, it certainly is something that I'm going to enjoy a little bit more than what I have been working with, which is, you know, you should challenge yourself a little bit. If you're young, you know, and you're sparring with individuals, you're going to notice that, you know, you're going to want to move in and out of what would be a considered weight class, unless you're a prize fighter. If you're a prize fighter, then you know, you might just stay, you know, really focused on the size of individuals. But man, they can vary a lot, especially, you know, if you're moving up and down within weight classes. So anyway, welcome back to the channel. This is a praying mantis centric art that I teach based on the 7 stars praying mantis system that I started learning back in the early 90s, and I've adapted it for my purposes as I've gotten older. Some of you guys on the internet have followed me, in fact, from those days. So hopefully, you know, I'm inspiring a few of you to get up in the morning and come out with me in my garage. You can be in your garage, crank the music up, because after I'm done here, that's what I'm going to do, and continue to practice. So this Mantis Chronicles thing is one, a little bit self-serving. It gets me out here in front of a bag, in truth, in front of a device that allows for me to continue my training and inspires me. Why does this inspire me? Because it's the only thing I have. And so, as a martial artist, I just use my tools. So, or I create them. That's another thing. So that's what I did, was I created this tool for the purposes of training what I wanted. So, and what I wanted was something that was intuitive, that moved with me, like a dance, that I could predict, because I understood the physics of it, like a person. But it doesn't have the brain of a person. He's dumb. He just lets me hit him a lot. He's just dumb. He walks into stuff all the time. So eventually, you know, those of you who don't have any sparring experience, you're going to need to get something. So as I move around a bag, I'm not always trying to use perfect technique. Right now what I'm trying to do is warm up my body and challenge my mind and my breathing. I need to get them in sync. So one of the things that is difficult for a teacher especially is to move and talk. Think about performers that have to sing and dance at the same time. They're going to have to be really focused on their breathing. Otherwise, it's just going to be weird. Like that. So, I was taught to breathe in a whole bunch of different ways. I'm going to let you sort that out on your own. But I have my way. If you want to learn it, you can. It's out there. Okay, so the circle. Doesn't matter whether you circle right or left. Put my left foot forward. If I have my left foot forward, remember, excuse me, you're going to be dealing with a jab to your face. That's the first thing to remember. So you're going to want to move this head. So when I jab, you're going to want to pull your head to the side. Woo, hello. So you don't get popped. Well, if I'm smart, I'm going to work my way in and I'm going to try to punch you there, or just kind of get you to react to an oncoming punch. It doesn't even have to really be a full punch. I can do all kinds of different things. Really what I'm trying to do is get a reaction from you. And from there, I'm going to throw something that's a little bit different because I'm going to move at a different angle. It's going to come at you quick, and you're going to have to move your head, and if you've walked forward, you're going to eat it. And it's going to hurt a lot. Guys get knocked out with this punch all the time. It's a 1-2 kind of thing. Boom. You'll see that a lot. It's got setups, so you're going to want to be able to set it up with some type of movement that's fast with the jab, and then throw like that. You know, you're going to want to get one. Think about rule of threes as well. So if you do any type of work on computing, graphics, if you've ever worked with the CIA doing mind control, or if you've worked with statistics, you're going to discover that the rule of three is important. It's important everywhere, including in some ancient crazy stuff. So here, it's a pattern that is both easily remembered, but easily deviated from. It's very dangerous to try to follow patterns of three, because with all the different variables within a pattern of three, there's chances that it can do something different every time. So if you try to predict a movement with a boxer, 1, 2, 3. So if he's 1, 2, 3, and you're thinking he's going 1, 2, 3, probably going to eat that. So that's conceptually how something like that would work, right? So a 1-2 would also be where 1, 2, 3, because they're used to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to change timing from 1 to 3. Whoa, where'd that come from? If you were in a band, you'd be like, hey, whoa, dude, you lost me. Unless you were good. Maybe not, I don't know what I'm talking about with band shit. So I do kind of have an idea about timing with fighting. So 1, 2 allows you to even just reach out and touch, right? With just boxing. See how I'm turning the waist? So when you're using Mantis now, the same rules apply. So, and you have to be familiar with a few different things. So the hands, for example, when you use praying mantis style, can be used like, you know, Philly shell, to use like what Brendan Lai would call, Schiffer Brendan Lai would call, if you want to call him that. I call him Schiffer Lai, honestly. So he would use dead hand just to play with. Now, if you're going to debate me on this online or something, great. I mean, whatever. So it is hard to defend from, because this is out of the generalized peripheral view versus this is right in it. You can see everything from here. That's really what you're looking at if you're boxing. So the hands down styles are kind of hard to gauge because you're not quite sure what they're about to do. So a hybrid of that would be something that would, again, right hand dominant, okay? So if I'm right hand dominant, which I am, I'm, especially with a traditional martial art, likely to have been taught, because traditional martial arts used bladed things. They didn't bring a fist to a knife fight, just like you don't bring a knife to a gunfight in modern combat. So when weapons were outlawed, all of a sudden you had to change a few of the things that you would do, but ultimately it constrained the styles of fighting that you faced. So right hand dominant fighting styles were okay. For a while, boxing styles dominated thinking, so everyone switched up to orthodox versus southpaw. And then if you watch MMA today, it's still like a 60-40 thing, but some guys are really good at fighting off of both sides. So Mantis offers kind of an advantage there in that you can kind of really adapt. When I say kind of, you can adapt it for either side forward. So when you're moving then with your left foot forward, like we're going to be doing today, working on some just basic maneuvers with your hands. So I'm not trying to close a fist. If I were trying to control somebody, I'm not trying to break my hands right off the bat. So you know, I'm trying to move with them. If I hit somebody in the face, you know, I'm trying to raise their head up a little bit, because you know, I'm not trying to break some dude's face right off the bat. I'm trying to get him to leave me alone. So, and that's where, you know, you kind of get into what Mantis is from a more intricate perspective, because to close the gap from this distance to your face or body, for me as a fighter, I can choose to try to be like lightning, okay? So I can weave in, I can work my way past any potential attacks, and then boom. So, you know, I'm coming forward and you throw that leg kick and I decide I'm just going to eat this, and I throw that at you as you come through square. Man, and what I mean is come through square. So leg kick, bang, I eat it, but I throw this punch as you're coming back. So as I see the kick, I'm approaching you like I'm a TIE fighter, okay? I'm going to lure you into taking that shot. And then as you take that shot, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to drop this hand down and go bang as hard as I can. That's what I'm going to hope to do. Whether I can do that or not, who sees? Who knows? Did I say who sees? Gross. Oh well, there we go. It's that time of year. Okay, so, wish I had a hanky on me, huh? I guess you're just going to have to eat my snot. So when you're using Mantis with your left foot forward, to use some of the hooking motions are going to be difficult, because they don't always work the way you think they're going to work. So if you're taught, you know, the do Sal motions with your right hand forward, learning them off your left side is going to be kind of tough. So, but learning basics, so basics of intercepting and what Mantis is from a like kind of a base standpoint. So he's trying to break stuff, trying to break down an opponent's guard. If you watch a praying mantis feed, it grabs, you know, limbs and chews them off of things before it feeds, or just holds them in place and then begins feeding, which is another great little technique that the mantis uses. Whew, scary stuff, man. I'd hate to be approached by one that was 6 feet tall. So what we're going to do, though, is attack the limbs. You can see my movements from the outside. If you're approaching me, you see how far forward the limbs are from the body. So if this is my body's attack points, if the limbs are already from this perspective on me, you can see I'm inside this circle. Everything from these into this square is like this area that's really dangerous. Everything that's outside of these and in these darker areas to the outside, you're outside of a range of hands, but still kickable. So the guys that have long legs that have, you know, some speed behind them, you're gonna have a tough time. So if you're short, which I don't know, I mean, I am. That's my life work, I guess, is to be short. So as you move with Mantis, then one of the things you're going to see with that left hand forward is the ability to move towards a hand that naturally wants to punch you in the face. And it's not the jab. So what you're going to do is you're going to cover that jab with your right hand. The jab wants to hit you here. And if he wants to hit you here with the jab, the motion is exactly the same, but you don't need to do the rest of it because he is going to eat the punch if you throw it at the same time. So what I mean is I'm coming forward and he goes to the body with a jab like this. I'm going to use a downward parry, okay, but Mantis style. So I'm not just going to go like this. So a lot of boxers are taught movements like this, and then a few guys in the MMA have begun to hook, kicks, but almost nobody attacks limbs this way. It's really hard to, that's why. And it's dangerous unless you have a good grappling game, because otherwise you're going to be grappling. And then you're going to be unprepared. So Mantis said, let's be good at grappling. So as an attack came in, now again, what we're talking about is that right there, to set up that big motion. That's what I was doing earlier. I was talking about 1, 1, 2 kind of stuff. So the one is that jab, which if I hook it down, you see this area here that I walk into when I throw the right? So what you're going to do is you're going to immediately, but you're going to step to the left as you drop your head. So it's going to be like that. So that's your downward parry. As that comes through, you're going to cover that. It's a double crossing. This would be double fanning in Mantis. This is double crossing, okay? And man, I tell you what, I've seen people get knocked out on the internet using double crossing movements. So as I come through with a double crossing movement, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to spin out. So what I'm trying to do is move quickly from one side of my opponent to the other, such that they don't know where I'm at. It's pass through their guard to expose areas of their body that might be vulnerable. So from there, left foot forward, I'm baiting the opponent as they throw the jab. I hook it, I hit it, I pull it down. As I step, here comes that punch. Okay, if it hits me, it's gonna suck, man. So I can't have my chin up. I gotta have my chin down and be ready to throw the punch and then move away. So as I punch, I'm on the other side. Do you see what happens? Again. So I'm moving, baiting, covering, punch, punch. That's it. So hook. So it's pretty easy to do. Hook. Okay. So one of the things that I like to do when I practice is to utilize this curtain. And the reason that I like to use the curtain, again, you've seen me use this, is that it allows for me to use what I just showed you and my kicks so that I begin to get a relative sense of range. So, because nobody stands still, you can't practice in complete isolation, and the bag, you know, is always going to be that. So if you broaden your idea, your horizon up a bit, again, I'm going for the body, okay? So I'm going to hit right here, right here. Everybody sees that, I'm sure. I don't know. A little heart. It's probably a bad spot. That's all I'm doing. So with my right foot forward and moving away. Okay? So we're going to start slow. So step 1, 2, and 3, and back. Okay? And then step 1, 2, and 3, and back. And yes, you're fighting out of a southpaw stance here. 1, 2, 3, and back. Okay, 1, jab, 1, jab, cross, 2. See where it turns your body, brings the hip through, aiming for this guy's liver. 3, and back. Okay, you're gonna hit him. You're not gonna carry through. It's not gonna happen. So when you hit him, your leg's gonna bounce back down. When it does, you want that leg to come in by pulling that heel in towards your center. You don't want to go out. If you do, this guy's going to take advantage of that. So that's called you being off balance. So when you kick somebody, you can then move by using the movement I just showed you. You just witnessed. And that's hitting a curtain. Has a lot of give to it. You kick a body, you're going to be surprised how quickly your leg bounces back. But it's dead. It doesn't bounce back like off a trampoline. You have to effect it. You have to be conscious of your movements the whole time. Are you? Are you conscious of your movements the whole time? I'm not. Yeah. You have to get unconscious. So you have to practice things over and over. And you have to do it in ways that are different than you're used to. So again, this is just a basic 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, and 3. And back. 1, 2, 3. And that's a little bit more advanced. We're going to move in on a person. Okay? We're going to move basic first. And then out. And then we're going to step in because they're going to expect it. And out. Okay? So, 1. I feel old. Let's be real. Now, I've got a few people that follow me that are old. What do you do if you just can't do even the stuff I'm doing? Which, I'm impressed. So, to break down the kick, to hit somebody again, you've seen this, but it has to start on the ground and your heel. So, without even throwing the kick, you have to understand how the body turns with that, and then how to recover in a way that you don't get clipped on the way out, because you're going to be moving into a dangerous range and out of a dangerous range. So once you get that sorted out, you can start to disguise these movements. Even if you don't throw any of the handwork, you can fake it to get a guy to move back and then launch. So, and you know, it's all different types of things you can do. They all kind of work off the same basis of hip turn or movement, because it's not all the same. So if I'm going to throw a teep or a front kick, you know, as I launch this, it's very different in its hip movement than that. You can see the difference. So you have to learn that. So to slow it down then, I'm going to reach out and touch now. So that's all I'm going to do is touch that. I'm not going to try to kick it. I wish this thing would stop hitting me. You know what? Oh, I'm being bullied, man. Why you gotta stand so close? Jackie Chan would probably just like, kick. I hurt my hip just even thinking of. So if that's your case, do this. See how slow you can go through this? Some of you need to go this slow to begin with anyway. Whoopsies. Encroachment. Missed my target. And then, you know, you got something. Now the right side. Why do you train? Or do you? Do you do any art? If you do an art and you're watching this, which I assume some of you do, some of you are naturally good at it. But do you practice it or do it for any particular reason? See, I always had a reason. I was a competitive athlete. That meant I wanted to find other human beings and compete against them. So I did so in both forms and full contact fighting. Hollister, places like that. You could do it. You can still do it today. In the 90s, it was a lot easier though, because my teacher was trying to prove that praying mantis style, and more specifically Kung Fu in general, was just as good as all of the other styles that were claiming to have superiority by doing full contact matches that weren't being done at that time. It wasn't allowed. So we were kind of doing these underground / on the side tournament matches where you could do 2 minutes, full contact, no head contact, but trust me, from beginning on up, everything was allowed, and then you got to do what you wanted to do. So, and in that, we got to fight all kinds of really good people from around the Bay Area. So, if you've done that, a competitive athlete has a reason. I did. So now I don't. The reason that I get up and come out here every day is not to inspire you, although that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this on camera. And if you're inspired, I'm glad. Okay, so I do it because I do this every day, and it's something that keeps me centered and healthy in my mind, because I think during these times. Shadow boxing. One of the things that people need to do when they shadow box is move their head, not just march around like they're stalking somebody down. You know, if you're a Mexican style fighter and you take punches to the forehead and face all day long, awesome. Mexican style boxing works terribly with bare knuckle boxing. Both on the giving and the receiving end, it sucks. So you gotta figure that out. For boxing to work, you want to always be on the outside of what you could receive back. That means you want to be fast in and out. So you want to make contact and then get out. So, but it's not like your fist is pulling away. So it can make contact all the way through a target, and then this begin to pull away. Do you see that? So again, from this perspective, if I go punch, and there's a punch coming over the top, I can begin to lean away. Okay, now you're like, you're exposing your chin. Yes and no. Yes, the lean back exposes stuff, okay? But what's coming over the top is a looping punch or a long punch that, again, if I move and pop and away, the punch as I've thrown my left that comes over the top is not his left, is it? So he's going to be trying to hook right here. As I go, whoa, he's going to try to hook over the top and hit me here. Okay? But I'm going to pull my head back behind his shoulder. You see that? So I'm not technically exposing my chin or my jaw. I'm exposing my shoulder. So then, if I do this, do you see where I'm at? So from here, I'm baiting this guy, and then I move in for my punch. Boom. Okay? Hello. Because in bare knuckle boxing, and or any other type of bare knuckle work, hands on, when you move in and punch a guy, or get your hands in his face and he's sending something back, this hand is going to want to be here to protect you. You know, and not completely like this, but kind of, you know. So it's that thing that you see a lot of guys do, where they keep that rear hand close or up or around. When they strike, it comes up to protect, answer the phone, you know, you hear all kinds of stuff like that. So Mantis does it too. So when I strike, though, head movement says when I make contact, boom, here comes that return. See where the shoulder is? And then I can cover it because it's already covered here. Okay? So that's the other thing. So if I go click, and I'm here, and a punch is coming over the top, I can get to the outside of it, and there's the body that's exposed, and the side of the head. So I can move in, boop, boop. So I can move in. When this guy commits, and I pull away, bam, overhand left, as I'm moving out. So, this is how you do it. So you step in, hook. All right, I'm gonna step off the camera for a minute. This is necessary sometimes. So, Mantis, right foot forward. So the very first praying mantis principle: hook, grab, and then punch. This is a very traditional thing. Ridicule if you must. Hook, grab, and punch. Hook, grab, punch. So you have to make that punch then work, because a lot of guys on the internet do what I just did, which is demonstrate that as the powerful praying mantis. So they're out there going like this. Like, dudes, like, what you don't understand is that even your most common individual is going to take whatever that punch was straight in the face and not even blink when they punch you back. They'll sort it out tomorrow. So you think that because your teacher taught you that you're going to cause somebody's head to explode, that's going to happen, but it's not. So you have to learn how to do that. So that punch. Now I'm not doing anything different. I'm just not going like we all used to do in class back in the days. Oh yeah, and then teacher would come around and make these tiny little infinitesimal adjustments to your body while everyone was standing there going, this is so hard, because we were in low stances and stuff. It was fun. So, but the reality is that's totally unnecessary from an actual fighting perspective. From a traditional learning from a master who wants to torture you, if you want what he's got, yeah, you're going to have to go through some of his crazy torture. So 1, 2, 3 is a hook, grab, punch, but that punch comes back. That's why fire mantis, speed, and power. Okay, so but with boxing more than any of the traditional stuff. So. Up. 2, lu, sa. Hook, grab, punch, tap, fist. So, it's a simple basic. Once you have that one, you guys have all seen back fist. Okay, again. If you're coming in and you're facing that left foot forward. So the person is going to have a very difficult time keeping you from clawing down their lead arm if you're using these techniques. So the powerful chopping techniques are like interesting because they both attack the limbs and the body at the same time. And it doesn't have to be the face. It certainly shouldn't be, you know, to the top of the head or the temples. And if you're going to strike a guy in the nose, fine. If you're going to uppercut using this type of technique, it can be done. And to use it like a jab is interesting. So, and then you have, you know, traditional praying mantis using a lot of palming techniques. So, the back fist then, or bung da, powerful, I'm sorry, I was going to say powerful chop, which is not that. Downward chop is mistaken a lot as, you know, big movements. It's a tiny movement, and when you're moving, you have to precede that with that grab. So you have to. Otherwise, you're just jabbing. Forget all the nonsense. You're not using traditional martial arts unless you're trapping. Oh my God, did I just say that? Because boxing traps, doesn't it? MMA traps, doesn't it? Man, those traditional guys must have been onto something. So as we move with bone, now we can move with a front hand lead with the right, or we can move with the rear hand lead, okay, with the left foot forward. Do you see that? So I'm going to use something that's almost the same. Okay? Here's why. His lead hand's not changing. So I have to change my idea of attack, and I might change how I lure an individual. So right foot forward, I'm likely then to see him try to jab quickly to my face, and I can quickly grab that and attack in. I can quickly move. I can attack him by baiting that, and as he does anything in response to my first movements forward, I don't care if he attacks. If he immediately reacts, if he stands perfectly still and does nothing to my feints, that makes me super nervous. But if the guy moves, that's what you want him to do. It's your reaction to his movement that counts. So it's that thing that you're going to do right before you step in. So you're going to hook that hand right off the bat. So you're trying to bait a person, but you're hooking from the rear hand. It comes out really quick. They don't expect it. They don't even see it in reality. But that punch they see. Okay, so that's bump. So as you roll out, now you're going to see a different set of circumstances. So as you move, now that person's left is going to be coming at you here. Their right's going to be gunning for you. Every time you step to your left, man, you're going to be stepping into that punch. Every time you step to your right, he's going to be trying to time that punch. That right is coming. So now you have to be a little quicker. But even if you're not, so again, you grab that rear hand and he's thrown that punch. That movement through is going to cause collision with your limbs in some way. It's not going to allow him to have a clean strike. Get that. It's not about whether or not you attack. It's about using a superior set of principles such that you're not as vulnerable in the moments where you are attacking. So with this particular one, as I grab from that rear hand or front hand, the ideas are the same in that what I'm trying to do is get to the outside of that arm. In this instance, I'm going to bait it differently, okay? As it comes in, now I'm going to use this left hand, okay, to attack on this side and throw. See, a different way. Okay, so now, ball on the left. So, baiting that, knowing that the fist is coming through, he throws the jab, here comes the cross, and again, he can still hit me clean, but he's not likely to because I'm not standing here going without moving my head. Remember this. That's what makes this work, is your boxing. So you don't just walk forward and, oh, I'm going to hit you. No, he's going to flatten you if you try that. So the idea then is setting up the inside movements. So this works like a jab. Again, you get his hands up. If you're good enough to pop him on the outside and he flinches and you come over the top of a nice big shot, well, lucky you. So, boom. So, do sao, boom. Do sao, bang. Slowly, hook, bang. Hook, wrist, grab, elbow, forearm, punch. You choose. Boom. Hook, elbow, wrist, face, bridge the nose. So, 1, 2. Okay, and then you figure out what to do on the 3, because that's all we're doing today. I don't know about you. I'm gonna try to say that. I'm gonna turn up my music, and you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. Have a great day.